Muskegon Channel. It's Andy O'Reilly, and today I am down at the Frauenthal Theater. I have got quite a guest list here, and it's a good thing because there's a free show coming up next week, and we want you to be a part of it. It's all about Michigan waterways, and we brought in David Ruck, who I've heard of. Your name bounces around, and maybe it's just because we run in the same media type circles or something like that. But you got a great. You're a movie producer.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it's Great Lakes
Outreach Media.
Great Lakes Outreach Media. All right, tell me about your company.
Right. Yeah. So my company is really a spin-off of the work I was doing when I worked for the government. I worked for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Wow.
NOAA. At headquarters in DC, and my job was to get sent around to all of the national marine sanctuaries, which is sort of the underwater parks similar to the park system, the national park system, only these are in the ocean and Great Lakes. And I was the videographer there, doing underwater work, above water work, filming shipwrecks, coral reefs, and things like that.
Rough job.
Yeah, it was a great job.
Yeah, right. Who wouldn't love that?
Yeah, and I learned a lot. It was a great team. But I never fully intended to stick around DC indefinitely.
Right.
And the Great Lakes have always been what's most important to me. So taking that passion and the knowledge that I learned working for the feds, I wanted to get back here and really carve out and make a difference in the Great Lakes. So my company typically works with either government or government-funded clients.
Okay.
You know, every time there's a grant that goes out that's from the feds, there's typically an outreach component attached to that,
Absolutely.
or there should be.
Sure.
And because I, as a citizen and as a taxpayer, I want to know how my money is being spent.
Right.
And these are interesting, exciting projects.
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't we know more about them? And so that's where my niche, I guess you'd say.
How far along in this film production thing have you gotten? How many have you got under your belt?
Well, I launched this company in August of last year.
Okay.
Largely in part with working with Kathy and Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership.
Sure.
That was sort of like the I'm going to pull the ripcord and do my own thing.
I know
now.
the feeling. I know those feels. I really do.
Yeah. So I still work with NOAA, either directly or indirectly. Got a lot of work lined up for 2019.
That's a good thing.
And yeah, Sea Grant's a client. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Sea Grant.
Okay.
Also NOAA funded. So it's exciting. It's exciting work. Basically, it spurs from my interest, not just to know how my tax dollars are spent, but a lot of this stuff is science or scientific, and that fascinates me.
Sure.
And I want to know, how is this research benefiting our quality of life or our way of life?
Yeah.
What are we learning from this? And I feel like the more people know how these projects are having an impact, either directly or indirectly, or down the road will have an impact in their life, the smarter we are as citizens. So that's my goal.
And what I think the best part of that is, when you're a filmmaker, you can boil it down to language that the average Joe can understand.
Exactly.
And they, cause, I mean, I've known Kathy a long time, and she'll come at me with some of this stuff, and I'm like, huh? What?
I'll try not to do that.
Kathy,
today.
dumb that down for me a little bit so I can understand. And as a filmmaker, I'm not saying you're dumbing anything down, but you're making it relatable so people can understand the importance of the Great Lakes.
Exactly.
And our inland lakes and our rivers and streams and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
one of the things I do is, and I'll be doing in this month and next month, is the International Association of Great Lakes Research, which is a body of 800 scientists that meet every year and talk about the lake science they're doing. They're really good at communicating with each other.
Right.
And so I'm part of a session there as a co-chair that's helping them understand and be equipped with tools to communicate with us non-scientists.
Right, yeah.
Again, because it is a different language. It's putting the science in a context that the average person can understand. What's the history here? Who are the stakeholder groups or user groups that are impacted by researching sturgeon habitat, or understanding how lake levels are rising. When we understand that process and look at it scientifically, that's one thing. But then when we put a layer or a veneer over that of, well, this is commercial and recreational fishing. This is how you're going to design your next harbor. This affects people. So,
So on to you, Kathy. Let's talk about the Watershed Partnership and everything going on. I mean, you have got your hands in so much through Windsor Dick and everything else. Talk a little bit about what's going on with the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership.
Sure. Well, Windsor Dick is the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission.
Yep.
And part of my job there is to provide staff support for the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership, which is a purely voluntary organization that's been meeting since 1992.
That's how we got her in here.
Members, right? I consider David one of the members now as well. He was such a great fit for us because being able to convey this information in a video, in a film, is something new for us.
Sure.
We do a lot of fact sheets and websites and Facebook and things like that. MuskegonLake.org is
Yep.
the website. Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership is the Facebook page. But one of the things that the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership has been working on for many years is the major cleanup projects on Muskegon Lake that are needed to remove it from the list of Great Lakes Areas of Concern.
Right.
AOCs, and we have done a tremendous job in working with partners to get that work done. And that has been very technically challenging, it's been very expensive, but we're very close to where we need to be to remove Muskegon Lake from that list.
That's a good
Might be
thing.
a couple years before it's official, but we are moving toward that. So as a part of transitioning our community from one that has been so involved as an area of concern with cleaning up contaminated sediments and the great loss of fish and wildlife habitat, we now want to move into an era where we are taking good care of our water quality, our green spaces, public outdoor recreation is super important for education and getting people hands-on with our water. So we've developed an action plan, the Muskegon Lake Action Plan.
And it's thick. And it's online.
But
We're not going to make you read it here.
No,
we're going to link it
don't-
up.
And it is a little bit technical, but there is some general public type information about why different topics are important, such as stewardship, public access, fish and wildlife habitat, water quality. So we have some implementation frameworks that just talk about the kinds of projects that right now the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership and all of its partners, Grand Valley State University, the cities, the county, lots of different, general public, everyone's involved in these projects and getting them done right now. So you can get online and you can see these on the muskegonlake.org website and just kind of get an idea, a snapshot of the kinds of projects that are actually happening out there on the ground right now to improve the water quality, the habitat, and the access to our waterways.
Tell me your role. How'd you get pulled into this? I mean, once they get you, they don't let you go.
They don't let you go.
You try to get out, they pull you right back.
Once you get in, you really don't want to get out.
Right.
You feel bad when you miss a meeting. But the Watershed Partnership is a volunteer group that really just gets involved. People have ideas and nothing actually happens until someone steps in with hands and feet and makes something happen. The film that's coming up next Wednesday is going to be an awesome opportunity, not just to showcase what's been going on for the last 30 years, all the volunteerism that's happened to get the lake back, all the money that had to really get invested in getting the lake back to something more like a usable space. For us who've grown up here our whole lives, and I have lived here my whole life, we kind of see Muskegon as this industrial place. My friends who live outside of Muskegon see it as a tourist mecca. It's a completely different thing.
We're at that stage.
Yeah,
We're at a very transitional stage.
So the film is going to be an opportunity for other people to step in. It's going to be an awesome learning opportunity for new people to come into the whole whirlwind that is this cleanup project that's happened in our county. Students, I think, as young as middle school kids are going to really get the gist of what's going on and hopefully want to become stewards themselves and find a place in this whole thing where they fit.
And what better time? I mean, we've got so much good attention coming our way right now. We've got so many people looking at us, watching us go, if you will.
Right.
What better time to say, look what's been going on all these years and look at what we've done together as a community to change things around. Tell me about the film. It's next Wednesday. It's free.
Yeah,
that's Muskegon's favorite four-letter word.
Right.
Free. So that's a good thing here at the Frauenthal.
Well, it's brief. It's a short piece. It's going to kick off this panel conversation that we're going to have afterwards with a lot of these folks that have been heavily involved in some of this work or who are benefiting from this work. So it's a little walk down memory lane and then a walk down some of the work that was done to actually get us to the place that we're at now.
Yeah.
And then, you know, ask some key questions about, like, well, where do we go from here? You know, we've all heard the phrase, you know, those who don't study the past are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, right now with all the great things that are happening in Muskegon, you know, we're truly fortunate to have a group like this that's so active. I was just at the most recent meeting, and you had everything from someone who's explaining the next scientific project to all the great work that has been done, you know, over the last couple of weeks, to someone who's got a new concern.
Sure.
and bringing that to the table. And in the heat of that, like, it can be kind of intense, right? You know, someone's upset about something, or someone's, you know, trying to explain a scientific process or something. But if you step back from that, this is really a remarkable, beautiful thing that is going on. The fact that you have people in a room, engaged, working together from different backgrounds, different life experiences to make a place better.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so lucky to have that. And this event and this film is a testament to that and a dedication to that. But it's also a call, like, you know, come on, more people, like, get involved. As Kathy said, it's about to be delisted. This is a turning point. And you can make good choices, or you can make not so good choices moving forward. And the whole point of this is, let's work together and make good choices moving forward.
What time does the film start next Wednesday?
Show up at 6.
6 o'clock, and then are the tickets required in advance, or is it just show up, general admission seating, all that kind of stuff? Wow, how about that? So we'll link everybody up. We'll put Great Lakes Outreach Media up. Your links are everywhere. Those are easy to find. Should we put your Facebook page up so everybody can just know you?
No.
No? All right. It's going to be a free show. It's next Wednesday here at the Frauenthal. If you want a little more information, if you want to see a great local film that's been produced about us, get down here and be a part of it. If you want to get involved with this Great Lakes Watershed Partnership or anything with the restoration of our Great Lakes, our rivers, lakes, what else do we got around here? Marshes.
Yeah,
Cattails,
we have
habitat,
little streams. You know,
streams.
Bidler's Creek was
Everything.
a stream that we didn't even know we had
Yeah.
until a few years ago. It's in a storm drain now, but we're bringing that back.
Nice.
That's, you know, Ryerson Creek, Rodman Creek, Bear Lake, the lower
Everywhere.
part of the Muskegon River, the whole lake. It's
All part
good.
of us.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Next Wednesday, be at the Frauenthal at 6 o'clock for that great show, and get all the details right here on the Muskegon channel. Thank you guys. Great job.
Thank you.